Hello and welcome to Gold and Silver Assets. I'm Diora and it's Sunday, the 1st of May 2022. Bargains galore? I thought it was quite interesting after last week's show, which we were talking about whether people were panicking, and a substantial number of you were clearly not panicking. In fact, I particularly like the comment about how someone said, "Yes, I'm panicking, I'm panic buying." I thought that was brilliant. Okay, so we'll start with gold priced in US dollars on the weekly scale. And I've done this on the log scale to show this line, which kind of roughly matches with that parabola pattern that we were discussing a little bit earlier. And now what I've done here, so first of all, the first thing to say is that we don't want price to drop or close anyway below this line. It could wick below and then come back up, but we don't want it to fall, decisively below that level. What could stop it from going below that level? Well, we do have some support here with this price action all along here. So, it's not completely out there to say that the price could turn around at that point. But what other evidence do we have? So what I've done here is use the trend-based fib tool on TradingView, and I've done it in two ways. So one is to join the very high over here, the low over here, and then I brought this up to match the high over here. Now I haven't brought it all the way along just because it would make it look even more messy than it already does. But yeah, so that's meant to be over there. So we're looking at these fib levels, and what you're looking for is it to hit the 0.618 or the 1, roughly, let's say. That's what I'm thinking for this. And then I've done the same here, but on a smaller scale. So we've got the high over here joined with this low here, and then back up to the high here. And again, I've stretched this out over here just to make it a bit clearer, because otherwise it'll be a squishy little thing here. And now we've already kind of poked through that 0.618. It did wick down below it and closed above it. But I'm thinking, because if you look at this, there is a bit of a cluster here. So the 1-to-1 kind of matches with the 0.618 on this bigger pattern here, doesn't it? And that's kind of around this area here. So 1820 as a low. So I'm wondering, look, I'm thinking price is going to go a bit lower from where we are. I think that's a reasonable thing to suggest. The question is how low. So because of this and all this support that we've got here, I'm thinking a drop down to here and then a bounce up from there. Now, obviously, this would I think a break of this line would shake quite a few people out, and so that's why I think it might wick down below before moving back up. So, yeah, let's think about that 1820. But of course, if we do get a decisive move and a close below, then I think we're looking at much lower levels. But I don't know. I think the paper game is running thin at the moment, but I'll tell you a bit more about that a little bit later. We'll go to silver, priced in US dollars on the daily scale, and silver's it's a mess, isn't it? Look at this chart. It's a complete mess. It's just zigzags going sideways. And I think it's frustrated pretty much everyone, I think a lot of people got excited over here, but of course, the move's already happened. And I think the same thing's going to be happening here. Everyone's so fed up that when it does turn around, nobody's going to really believe it until it's kind of, more than halfway up its move. And so, you'll get people getting excited at the equivalent of here when this happens here. Now, you notice I said when, and that's because that's the character of silver, It frustrates people for ages, and then you get parabolic moves. So me personally, I'm waiting for that parabolic move. But again, have we got more downside? So there's two ways I've kind of looked at that. One is, I think Fibonacci is difficult on this one, just because it's just too messy, and I don't know how reliable it is for silver. What I've done is join these two lows over here, and it kind of almost touched it there, but not quite. And so I think that's a reasonable level to consider. The other thing I've done here is do volume by price over here. And you can see that we've kind of come through this, we're kind of in the middle of this support bar over here. I think if we close below 22, there's not much support below it. So really it's this area here that we want to look at. That's when you'd be concerned about further drops. And there is support over here at 1850. So, and I think if I'd done these price by volume bars over a much longer time span, I'm talking kind of decades, then I think there'll be quite a lot of support over there as well. So I'm not thinking it's going to go any lower than that. But you can see here that there is thin air here. So we can't be blind to that. We do have to accept that. But I'm not saying it's going to go through there for sure. You know, this is our area of hope around the 21.5-ish area. We really need to see a turnaround there. Yeah, so that's silver. And then this is the gold miners ETF, GDX on the daily scale. So yeah, this was a very, very sharp move down, wasn't it? And we've got another gap over there. We'd been looking at this Fibonacci level. And yeah, I think it's reasonable to do this because we've got a very clear bottom over here and a very clear top over here. So, of course, where can this bottom out? I think a good point is this 34 area here, which we talked about earlier. So if you want it exactly, it's 33.73. And yeah, I think that's a reasonable point for a potential turnaround there. So I'm thinking, yeah, we're going to get a bit more pain next week. And it could even actually touch this trend line here. You know, it can poke through there and then come back up again. And then I'm thinking this. Right. And here we have the junior miners ETF. So this is the SILJ. And again, yeah, we've had a pretty brutal move down here. We actually went through the 0.618. This one actually could go, you know, down to here, even as low as 11, really, just below 11. Or, I mean, this is another kind of potential turnaround point. Now you'll notice that yesterday, the miners didn't. Friday, the miners didn't drop as much as the stock market dropped. They weren't dragged down quite as badly. And in fact, the gold price went up when that happened as well. So that kind of tells me that this kind of panic selling is kind of slowing down a little bit. I think there is a little bit more left. And it's just a question of how strong that last little move is there. And this is over here. We've got the RSI just to show you that's kind of poked into that oversold region over here. Now, does that mean that it can't go down much more? No. So the way to look at that is look at an example. If we go back here, so obviously we got a drop down here, and you can see RSI was well into that oversold area, and it bounced back up. But remember, as this was going up here, price was going down. Okay, so you can see here we had a lower low, and again another lower low, and here this was actually higher, that bottom of that RSI there. So just because it's there, it doesn't mean that that's the end of the move. Okay, it just means that well, that's the problem with these, isn't it? It means that if you think this is a short-term drop, then that's a potential bargain. However, if you're thinking that this is going to plummet and go to 2 or something ridiculous like that, then that's a false. That doesn't give you any help at all. So yeah, I'm thinking one more move down for precious metals and the miners, and then turn around from that point. Now I know there are quite a lot of people who are very bearish and are thinking much lower targets. But hey, you've just got to trade according to what you think. I don't have all the answers, so decide for yourself. And interesting. So Barclays has apparently suspended all of its commodities funds until further notice, which is interesting. What's going on there? What's the reason for that? Do they know something? Is a squeeze about to occur? I don't know. This is unusual stuff. I had a look at their list of actual. So these are ETNs. And this is the list of those ETNs, and you can see that they've got obviously a commodities index here at the top, and then we've got coffee, grains, and so on, tin, sugar, agriculture. So yeah, this makes sense as a commodities. The thing that did really puzzle me is this one here. Why is this in the list? Barclays Women in Leadership ETN. Is there really such a fund? And I mean, I can't even begin to think what that is. And it's shocking that people are actually paying money into such a fund. Really? The world has gone nuts, hasn't it? Crazy. Anyway, it's not something that I'll be personally investing in, but not investment advice, of course. So that's it from me. Now, I do have an announcement to make. I am next week about to travel to the other side of the world to finally reunite with my family members. And so I'm going to have to take a break from doing these shows. I'm really sorry. I'm just not going to be able to manage it. I don't know how long it's going to be. It's going to be at least a few weeks, I'm afraid. What I will do, I do really want to come back because I really enjoy chatting to you. And, I've come across some really fantastic people. Really good to know that we've got decent people out there. And so, yeah, I do want to come back. So it's not permanent. If I can, in the meantime, I might try and put some, the odd chart and comment up in the community section. That'll be quite quick to do if I can. And the other thing to remember is that on your subscriptions, make sure you have notify always button pressed so that you know when I return. All right then, that's it from me. Bye.